What's good, y'all? I need to wake up early tomorrow morning, so here I am starting this early tonight. Pretty much any time I do this on a Sunday, I gotta wake up early for Monday. Let's see, today was Piplup Community Day Classic in Pokemon Go. I got 20 shiny Piplups and 2 Jigglypuffs. Not a single one was good IVs. I did not get a single shiny today that was at least 3 stars. The best I got today was 1 2-star. That's the best I got. I didn't get a single shiny with any good IVs. Damn, it's a shame. Normally, what I do on community days is I evolve the one I got with the best IVs. But then there are cases like this where I just don't get any with good IVs. You know, do I just go ahead and evolve the one I got that is technically the best I got? Or do I wait? Do I wait to potentially get a better IV shiny one in the future, whenever that may be? And you know what? The best Piplup I got today, the IVs are actually slightly worse than the very first shiny Piplup I got in my Pokemon Go. Over 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. So I got asked, like, didn't you play the original Piplup Community Day in, like, the year 2020? You know, because it's a Community Day classic, as in it's already happened before in the past. And I'm just like, I don't remember what period I stopped playing the game. Because there was a period I stopped playing Pokemon Go. I don't remember when that was. So yeah, the very first shiny Piplup I got in my game, those IVs may still suck. Hold on, I got a picture. I sent them to my friend. Hold on, let me see. So the best one I got today, the IVs were a 11, 14, 10. That's the best one I got today. The one I got, let's see. It says here, I got it June 4th, 2022. The IVs on that one I got were 15, 6, 13. So yeah, do I just evolve the very first shiny Piplup I got? That is a 14 CP? Maybe. Anyways, so I saw Madvocat's video on Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and I want to go over a couple of points that he made in his video, because when I was watching his video, I was laughing my ass off. Couple things I didn't even pick up on or didn't even think about. So let's see. I completely missed this watching the film. Madvocat pointed this out. When Charlotte went to the back to try to save that little boy from the yellow rabbit, all the lights were off in the back. And there were no staff members too. Like, why are the lights off? Where are the staff? It is a very busy day at the restaurant. There is a big party going on outside. Why is the back dark and abandoned? Where is the food coming from? Where's the pizza coming from? And something else I didn't realize. Charlotte goes through the back doors and then she exits onto the stage. Wow, I completely missed that. I did not realize that. And yeah, that is a very what the hell moment. What else did I not realize about the film? You know, I also thought about this near the end of the film as well. When all of the original animatronics assembled like the Avengers, there's no way they would have arrived at the house on time. 'Cause they don't teleport, they move super slow. Unless they called a cab, which Madvocate pointed, no way these guys are able to dial the phone. So, like, how the hell did they make it from the restaurant to Mike's house in time? And also, hilariously, yeah, typical movie trope, Vanessa confronting Charlotte at the location just straight up tell her, yeah, you're stuck here because it's called a perimeter lock. And it can only be disabled with a password that I know. Yep, typical movie trope, just tells the antagonist everything they need to know. And something else I didn't think about too. The paranormal hunters, the spectral scoopers in the film, they split up. They have one person holding the camera and they split up. Wow, I really didn't think about that. And one of those guys, even I was thinking, he does kind of look like a young Adam Driver. Ain't that nuts? Oh, you know what's one really good point I never thought about? So, the original animatronics destroyed the toy animatronics with ease. Why didn't they just do that with Afton? Why didn't they just tear his suit apart so that he wouldn't have no animatronic body to possess? Also, Madvocate makes a good point. At the end of the movie, the post-credit scene where those people are searching for props for their new haunted house attraction, they were able to find the secret hidden back room where William Afton's body was, but Mike and Abby actively searching the building could not find it. He makes a good point about one other thing that also could just be like... It's also a point that could be made about the game too. The mask doesn't work against Foxy. You need to use the flashlight against Foxy. If Foxy can't tell the difference between person and animatronic, why didn't Foxy attack the other machines? I guess you could question that about the game as well. The fact that Mr. Berg during the science fair is impressed by a marble run, I did not think about that. Yeah, robotics, and he's impressed by a marble run. You know what I really wish we could have seen in movie form? Oh, what a wasted opportunity. Just picture this. No human in this scene, not necessarily. No stupid random character is just the marionette. This is after the initial missing children's incident. The marionette comes out of her box, no strings attached, just floats around the building. No strings, just a ghostly hover. Floats around the building like it's a dark, empty, abandoned building. The marionette just comes out and floats around the building. And then gives gifts, gives life. Can you imagine that? A scene with just the machines. Just the characters. Marionette floating around the building. Grabbing the masks and putting it onto the kids. It's also pretty stupid how Mike, on the computer, everything snuck up on him. Everything! Mike didn't see them with his peripheral vision, and all of the machines were silent, sneaking up to him. Oh, this movie is so stupid. Let me see. What else did I miss? Right. They also... I don't remember if I mentioned this. Charlotte's death was considered an accident. What? Madvicat's just like, no CSI, no medical expert were able to determine these were stab wounds? Oh, and yes, it does seem like that ghost kid was Golden Freddy. Oh, I can't wait for the third film! Oh, you know what's a really good and actually confusing point made about this film and what Mike said? So, when Abby was questioning why she can't go to the restaurant and see her friends, Mike said because they were broken and that he will one day go and repair them. But that was a lie. That wasn't the kind of lie I was thinking it would be. That was a lie because Mike didn't know where they were. I thought Mike was lying so that it would keep Abby away. Like, no, Mike himself doesn't even know where the animatronics are. And, you know, he's not lying about this because when he went to the restaurant to plead for their help, he is just in the middle of the room shouting at nothing. If Mike knew where they were, he would have went straight to them. So Mike himself genuinely doesn't know where they are. He is under the impression that the animatronics are actually destroyed. Because in Madvicat's video, he constantly points out, Mike said to Abby, there's pieces of them here, pieces of them there. So Mike is under the impression that they are broken, damaged, but still has no idea where they actually are. This movie is so stupid. It has so many plot holes. Oh, they utterly failed at writing a coherent and competent script. You know, I saw this comment somewhere about this movie. This movie, Pro. Oh, I'm looking here now. It was one of the comments on Madvocat's video. Pro. It was written by Scott Cawthon. Con. It was written by Scott Cawthon. That's... yeah. Scott Cawthon may know all the lore, may know how all the pieces should fit, but Scott Cawthon is not a writer. Not a movie script writer. He has input on the books, but he didn't write the books himself. And, you know, the games don't exactly have a script, a story that is written out. It's just hints of it. It kind of makes me wonder if Scott, while programming the games, didn't have a story in mind, like a concrete story in mind. So Scott just threw things together, and then whatever the fandom pieced together, it's like, yep, good job, guys, you did it. That's totally what I had in mind. I don't know, I kind of feel like that would be fun. You just throw random ideas together. Random enough to where it would make sense still, of course. You throw some random ideas together, you see how the community pieces it all together, and you're like, wow. Even I didn't think to do it like that. Wow, and the way these guys solved it actually makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it's like, Pro, it was written by Scott Cawthon. Con, it was written by Scott Cawthon. You know, having the creator write the script isn't always a good thing. It's good to have input by the creator, but sometimes you can really tell when projects are not made by fans of the content. You know, you can really tell. And if you're telling me that the writer for this movie was a fan of the games, well, yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Oh god, how'd that happen? So, aside from Five Nights at Freddy's, I don't have a lot to talk about tonight. You're probably expecting me to talk about Sandman and Dead Boys, but I'll be honest, I didn't have time to watch them. I did watch the next episode of Chainsaw Man, though, so that's all I'll have to discuss. I wonder if No Shame in Feeding is still here. Because, oh my goodness, what happened in this episode? I need input. I need opinions. I need discussions. Once I finish talking about Chainsaw Man, I'll probably go silent because I have nothing else to talk about. Unless a shiny Tornadus would like to show up right as I finish. Or maybe right now, and then we could save the discussion for next time. There is another good point Maverick made. When Abby said they say... When Abby was asked what happened to the yellow rabbit, Abby replied, they say his body is still at Freddy's, hidden in a secret room. And it's like, who is they? Who is they that said this? Because the only people who know about that is Vanessa, Mike, and Abby herself. So who is they? You gotta love stupid scripts. You gotta love horrible scripts of franchises we love very dearly. You know what I would do if I wrote a script for a FNAF movie? So I'll probably keep... Let's make it as similar as possible. Well, that's a pretty hard task. I'll keep the character of Mike. How about that? Mike Schmidt, I'll keep him. And... what do you guys think? Should we keep Abby, as in like, well, remove all of the custody plot lines from the first film because that was stupid and pointless. I'm thinking maybe Mike is looking after his sister and needs money. You know? It's just Mike and his sister Abby, so he needs money. So he gets a nighttime job. Or he applies for jobs, and then he's given the job of night security guard at Freddy's. He needs to work 5 nights at Freddy's and make sure there isn't a security breach. Otherwise, he would be in ruin. Anyways, so Mike, he works at Freddy Fazbear's at night, but I understand 5 nights is going to be kind of hard to pad out a 2-hour movie. So, how about, before he actually starts his job, he prepares. Because he works night shift, he needs to adjust his entire schedule. So he'll need to get things done during the day. Well, obviously, but you know. Get everything he needs to get done so that he can sleep early, so that he can adjust his schedule, so that he sleeps during the day, gets up during nighttime. He's planning like, alright, once I'm done my shift, I'll come home, I'll take my sister to school, I'll come back, and I'll sleep during the day. Kind of like that. So at the beginning, after he gets his job, but before his job starts, he prepares. Fast forward to the actual meat and potatoes. When Mike actually starts working, you know, maybe beforehand, he explores a bit. Same thing, right? He is the night security guard. He walks around, maybe turns on the lights if he wishes. But he learns quickly, oh no, that drains the power. Maybe I should turn off the lights. So he walks around, maybe with a flashlight. Checks out the place, gets familiar with his surroundings. And then when he sits down, first night, maybe he hears some noises, but doesn't see anything on the security cameras. Alright, night 2, goes back, sits in the office, watches the security cameras. Hey, where did one of the animatronics go? Wait a second. Get this. What if he sees on the security cameras, one of the animatronics is missing? So he leaves the office, goes and takes a look, but it's back on stage. What if he sees Bonnie is gone, goes to the stage, Bonnie is back there? He's just like, maybe I'm just imagining things. Goes back to his office, keeps an eye on the security cameras. Little bit of time pass, maybe like in movie, half an hour passes, nothing really happens. So he, I don't know, uses the bathroom. Or he just looks away for a moment. He looks back at the security cameras, it's gone again. Then he looks through the different security cameras in while still in his office, oh my god, there's Bonnie. How did he go? How did he get there? That's not where the stage is. Looks back at the stage. Chica's gone too. You know? And like I said last time, maybe every now and then, papers will appear on his desk in front of him. He reads it quickly. And he learns, hey, kids were missing here? There is a supposed killer at this location? Like, it's so simple. But yet they butchered it. Anyways, let me text No Shame in Feeding. Let's see if he's ready for Chainsaw Man. Why do we live in a timeline where the Five Nights at Freddy's movies are horrible? We couldn't live in a timeline where we got actual cinema with these movies? Is the screen tilted again? Maybe a teensy bit. You know what's another show I haven't watched yet? And I don't know when or if I will watch? Stranger Things. I don't know, it's another show that I don't really have too much interest in. If I were to check it out, it would be because of the amount of hype and excitement around the show. It just ended. Season 5 just wrapped, and thus the show is now over. I never watched one episode about it. I don't even know what the show is about. Well, I do know that it is one of those shows that take an absurdly long amount of time between seasons, so the kids, the in-universe kids are like way older looking, but still young as hell. I don't know. Will I ever watch Stranger Things? Maybe one day. One day long after all the hype has died. And I'm hearing that the ending was pretty crap as well. Man, why is it that shows have a really hard time giving us a strong finale? Let me try to think. Out of all the shows I've seen, which ones had a good finale? I'm trying to think. The Flash's finale was horrible. Walking Dead's finale was rushed. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., no, that was actually relatively fine. You know? They knew ahead of time that it was their last season. So they were able to wrap things up. Lucifer's season finale, or series finale, yeah, they wrapped up the story pretty well, yeah. Let me think. Arrow's finale, well, Oliver died during Crisis, so they kind of had to do what they could. It was okay. Legends of Tomorrow is canceled. You know, I've actually been seeing a lot more videos expressing love towards Legends of Tomorrow. Like, it was a really underrated show, and yeah, I suppose it actually was pretty underrated. People say the show fell off after season 2, at best season 3, because after season 3, it just got really goofy. They literally switched up the category from drama to comedy. But you know what? Legends actually did stay consistent with their quality. Yeah, they actually did. Anyways, what other shows have I seen that had a good finale? Smallville's finale was mid. They were hyping up Darkseid, and then he just pushed the planet away. Nope, threat's over now. 7-year time jump. So the Smallville finale wasn't that great. Damn, you know, a lot of shows I watch just don't have finales. Daredevil was canceled after season 3, as well as all the other Netflix shows. Damn near every Marvel show was canceled. And, you know, the Disney Plus Marvel Studios shows, well, those don't necessarily have finales. Some of them are one and done. Loki only has 2 seasons. So, you know, not a whole lot of shows actually have a genuine ending. Huh. Anyways, when shiny? I wish I would be right now. Did this guy just leave again? Damn. How am I supposed to talk about Chainsaw Man without this guy here? Alright. So, Chainsaw Man? Yeah? We are getting step by step closer to the movie. I spent all of last time discussing the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Imagine how in-depth I will go discussing the film for this one when I watch it. Because you already know, I'm going to break down the plot, I'm going to analyze everything. Maybe there are things I'll miss. Anyways, so let's get into Chainsaw Man. I think this was episode... Was it 7 or 8? I think it was 8. Wait a second, let me look something up. Nope, I don't see Chainsaw Man on Netflix. Just checking. But I do see the live-action Death Note is. Okay, let me just double check. Which episode did I just watch? Okay, it was 8. Episode 8 of Chainsaw Man. So we are very close. Very, very close to the movie. Because isn't there only 12 episodes in season 1? So we open up this episode with more of the scene from the ending of the last episode. We actually see Himeno carry Denji all the way to her place. Very drunkenly, she just plops Denji onto her bed, and then she goes off and gets herself tidied up. You know, she goes into her own bathroom, takes a shower, goes back to her fridge and grabs another beer. I don't know, this girl's drinking kind of gives me Jessica Jones vibes. But she doesn't act like Jessica Jones. So we see more of this scene. Because that's totally what we needed. No, seriously, we totally needed more of this. Because we see her perspective going back into the room, seeing a 2D drawn Denji try to move with a 3D animated bed. Well, they did their best. Not like I can do any better. We literally see Himeno's POV. Walking back to her room, to her bed. Hopping on top of Denji. Her POV of even taking a sip of the beer. I'll be honest, I did not need a POV of being on top of Denji. I'll be honest with you. I did not need that. But then, we just get more of the scene. More of the things that happened in between. Because I guess that wasn't... Some of those dialogues weren't important for the ending of the first... Or not first, the previous episode. You know, Himeno, she didn't even remember why Denji was at her place. She just drunkenly said, Denji, why are you here? Why are you here at my place? Wait, did I carry you here? Yeah, Denji, even he doesn't know what happened, why he's here, what she's doing. And then we get a recap, or rather a retelling of the things that happened in the last episode's ending. But with a lot more voluptuous angles. Was this the Vomit Kiss episode, or was that the last one? That was the last one. This is the episode after that. Yeah. So yeah, we see more of Himeno's POV. I really didn't need this, but okay. What I needed was more Denji POV. We did get that a little bit later, and not gonna lie, that's not exactly the POV that I... Let's just say there are certain POV guys like, and certain POVs guys don't like. Unless I'm just crazy. I don't know, me personally, there's just a couple of POV angles that I'm not a fan of. It's a different story when you yourself are experiencing it, but seeing someone else's POV is just like, nah, that's not doing it for me. What were we talking about? So anyways, we once again see a retelling of Himeno just asking Denji, just whispering to him, "Wanna do it?" And then the opening credits roll. I swear, am I tripping, or just like the end credits, are the opening credits slightly different every time? Slightly different. I swear, unless I'm tripping balls, I feel like some of the visuals are different. Anyways, so after the opening credits, we cut back to that scene. And finally, we get the aftermath of what happened. We get the aftermath of where the last episode ended. Where Denji, he kind of doesn't know what to do. He's in panic mode. The opening should all be the same? You know, Denji, he's kind of going primal mode. Not exactly. Somewhat. You know, he's trying to be gentlemanly. He's just like, do what? I gotta say, this show is uncomfortable with how direct it is. Because when Denji asks, do what? Himeno just straight up says, have sex. Yeah, this show is somewhat uncomfortable with how direct it is. I mean, we know Denji, he's straight up direct with everything. Man doesn't hold back, he doesn't sugarcoat, he doesn't do anything. He just straight up says what's on his mind. So Denji's going through a little bit of a back and forth. We see Himeno slowly take Denji's shirt off, and then reach a little lower, start to unbuckle his belt, unzip his pants, and then slowly slide it down. Denji, you know, he's getting excited, he's getting into it. But Denji, he's having a moral dilemma. He lost his first kiss, but he wants his first time to be with Makima. So he's really debating. Yes, no, yes, no. On one hand, I could get some action. On the other hand, my first time, I want it to be with Makima. But hey, Himeno notices something in Denji's pocket. It's a lollipop. And then we cut back to the actual restaurant scene where everyone is absolutely wasted. A part of me was thinking, no way did they just gaslight me to thinking all of that was a hallucination. That was all a drunken hallucination. But no, it was a genuine flashback. This is after the vomit scene, but before they all leave for the evening. Makima notices that Denji, he's kind of partied a little too hard, so she recommends he goes out and gets some fresh air. And then I suppose Makima really quickly runs to the store and grabs him some stomachache medicine. Denji asks Makina, "Well, I just lost my first kiss. Now, no matter how many girls I kiss, will I always remember the taste of vomit as I do them?" And then Makima, with a lollipop in her mouth, just takes it out of her mouth, tells Denji to open his mouth, and just sticks it in. Wow, that's a very cute gesture. Me personally, no, that's kind of nasty. I don't think I want that to happen to me in real life. That's kind of nasty, I'm gonna be honest with you. But maybe I'll give this one a pass, since Denji did just have his cheeks full of some other woman's vomit. So it's probably a pretty putrid taste in his mouth still. So a cola-flavored lollipop, especially with residual Makima taste on it, was probably the best thing for him at the moment. So anyways, I suppose after that scene, Denji took it out of his mouth and stuck it in his pocket? Nasty. So anyways, Denji makes the very mature decision to be like, nah, I'm gonna save my first time for Makima. So he just crashes on Himeno's floor. If I'm gonna be honest with you guys, if I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, I don't know if I would be able to resist if I was in Denji's position. I don't think I'd be as mature as he is. But you know what? My respects to Denji. He made a very mature, grown-up, executive decision. He made the right decision in that moment. I cannot say the same for myself. So, yeah, good on Denji. So, now it's morning time. It's morning time, Himeno wakes up Denji and they have breakfast together. And, well, he is the better man. Hell yeah, he is. I never claimed to be a good person. So, they have breakfast. Himeno even questions how Denji could possibly eat after all that. He's just like, well, I'm not gonna give up the chance on free food. Not gonna lie, he kind of spitting facts there. So, Himeno just straight up says, hey, last night, I got so drunk I blacked out. I didn't take advantage of you in my blacked out state, did I? No? Good. Because they would have thrown people like that in jail for doing that kind of stuff with minors. And I'm just like, what do you mean? Wait. Well, at least she acknowledged it. At least she recognized the position she was in. At least there's that. But you know what? It's okay as long as nobody knows. What? So, they once again discuss their romantic interests. Because, once again, it's not like Denji's keeping it a secret. Himeno very much knows that Denji's into Makima. Can't blame the guy. You know, Himeno even questions, what if Makima had a very shitty personality? Would you still be in love with her? He's just like, yeah, I'll be shit in love. Whatever he said. Let's pause for a second, because I was actually thinking about this. We still don't know anything about Makima. I'm really wondering what her motivation is. Why does Makima want the Gun Devil dead? Aside from, you know, public safety, aside from just making the world a better place, nah, I don't buy that. She has to have a reason for herself that she wants the Gun Devil dead. So I'm thinking, what is that reason? What is her reason for wanting the Gun Devil dead? Anyways, back to it. So Himeno wants to make a little alliance with Denji. Himeno will help Denji hook up with Makima. W, good looking out, I see you. And in exchange, Himeno wants Denji to help her and Hayakawa to hook up. Interesting. I didn't want to straight up assume there was a romance between them. You know, I don't want to assume there's romantic tensions between every single male and female character pairings. I don't know, I was getting somewhat hints that maybe... Clearly Hayakawa's not interested, he just has one goal in life at the moment. I don't know, I was kind of feeling maybe Himeno is interested, but I just... there wasn't enough of a concrete answer there. But, yeah, Himeno is into Hayakawa. I'm just like, why is everyone fumbling in this show? Okay, well, so they make a deal. Himeno even offers Denji to more often come over for breakfast. And hey, bring the Fiend and Aki as well. And then we get a far back view. Oop, how'd that happen? We get a far back view of the building Himeno lives in, and it's like, god damn, she is living good out here. She is living luxurious. Because you get a far back view of the apartment building she's living in. It is the biggest building. It is the biggest building all around. All the other buildings, apartment buildings in comparison, are puny in comparison. She lives good. Damn, how much does public safety pay? Because they did mention that too. They did mention that some devil hunters are only in it for the paycheck. And for a job like this, where your life is literally at risk, they better pay good. I tell ya. Okay, so we move on with our characters. We see Makima on what looks like a bullet train on her way to Kyoto, I think? Or is it Tokyo? Well, Makima's going somewhere. And one of her coworkers, this other random guy that she's with, says they're about 30 minutes from their destination. And, you know, Makima's going there for a business meeting with some of the higher ups, I suppose, the big wigs in the company. As they approach one of the tunnels to where the subway cart gets very dark on the outside, we see some of the other passengers duck their head, and then we hear some sounds. We hear some zippers. We hear some clinking sounds. We hear some screwing sounds. And then we see that random guy and Makima are shot. They're shot and killed. Makima shot in the head. The other guy just shot and died. So they're shot and dead. And then we get this little montage of we see Kobani and Arai. They're helping this old person out with some very eerie, calming music playing. And we see everyone pull out a handpiece. Everyone pulls out a Glock, a 9mm. Even the old person that Kobani and Arai were helping, she pulls out a strap as well. And then the very eerie, calming music gets cut off by a lot of loud banging noises. We even see our characters. We see Himeno, Denji, Hayakawa, and Power all at a small little noodle restaurant having lunch. Denji even heard the bang noises and was wondering, hey, what was that? Everyone just brushes it off like, hey, it's probably drums. Is there a festival going on? There's this guy that's sitting next to them, talking to them. This person reveals that his grandfather was in the Yakuza. It was the guy we saw in episode 1 who was in charge of Denji, making him work for money. So then we see this guy. He pulls out a piece himself shoots Denji damn near clean between the eyes, shoots Himeno in what looks like the chest. I think Hayakawa got injured as well, but Power, she actually moved fast enough to avoid his shots and just uppercut him. Hayakawa also calls upon the Fox Devil and just blows up the restaurant, so poor business owner. Hayakawa looks back. It appears that Denji is dead. Oh, hey, Derpy boy. It's been a while. How am I? I'm doing alright. More shiny hunts as always. How have you been? You're well, quite excited? That's nice. What are you excited for? Have you been playing the new Pokemon game? Have I checked Cerebi lately? No, why? Oh! The next 7-star Terra Raid event has been announced for Scarlet and Violet. This features a series of first-partner Pokemons from various regions back to 7-star. This event will run weekly starting January 9th with a Ground Terra Venusaur. This will run until January 15th. And the next one will start immediately afterwards. If you previously caught them when they first ran... What? Oh, when they first ran, you will be unable to catch them again. Oh. So all of them are starting up again. Ah. You're telling me I'll have my second chance against Cinderace, finally? Yeah, it's a rerun. So, yeah, if you missed any of them, then this is your chance to catch them again. Wait a second, hold on. Wait a second, hold on. Let me look at the fine print. Features a series of first partner Pokemon from various regions. Various first partner, as in starter. Do you think that Pikachu and Eevee count towards those? Well, I guess this confirms they're not doing Hisui and Gudra. Damn, that's a shame. Also, I hate how they use first partner instead of starter. Yep. First partner is stupid. Nobody likes it. Nobody uses it. Did you hear the reason why they opted out of using starter? It's because they thought starter implies that eventually it would be replaced. So your starter won't be on your team forever. You'll just put it into the PC and exchange it for something else. Yeah, that kind of just sounds like some sort of excuse they made up to not use the fan-made term. But then again, they've embraced fan-made terms before, like shinies. And I'm pretty sure, weren't there more cases of them embracing fan terms? The funniest is pseudo-legendaries are powerhouse. I can kind of understand that one. Yeah. Because you already have your own official group of Pokemon known as legendaries. You already have that as an official category. To have another one that is labeled pseudo-legendaries would just confuse the general public instead of, you know, hardcore fans who understand these terms. So that one I can kind of understand. But still, nobody says powerhouse. Everyone just says pseudos. You know, I'm looking at this list of Terra Raid events that we've had. Some of these I completely forgot even happened, because if it's not a 7-star and just a 5-star, then I don't really care for them. Aside from Walking Wake and Iron Leaves. Like I see we had a Love Disc event for Valentine's, and clearly I didn't do that, because why would I? You asked if I've been playing the new game. I've beaten the main story of both the base and DLC. What'd you think of it? Did you enjoy it? I enjoyed the base game. I hate the DLC. What'd you miss? Well, I just nonchalantly mentioned that Makima was killed, as well as Kobani and Arai. They were assassinated. It seems like the Gun Devil's influence is greater than we thought. Because the guy that ambushed them at the restaurant straight up says to Hayakawa that the Gun Devil wants Denji's heart. So it seems like the Gun Devil is aware that public safety is after him, and that it actually put out a bounty for these devil hunters. So then the guy that attacked them turns into this, like, blade, kind of like sword fiend. Kind of resembles what Denji looks like in Chainsaw Man form, only instead of chainsaws, it's just blades. Just regular blades. So, because this is a very clear threat, we actually see Hayakawa use that sword of his. That sword that Himeno really did not want him to use. So Hayakawa uses the sword, and it kind of seems like... So we see this, like, disconnected lips counting down from 3. Every time Hayakawa says now, like, gives the signal, it almost seems like Hayakawa gets into position, he yells when the moment's right, and then the sword will thrust forward to jab at the enemy. So Hayakawa does that 3 times. And supposedly Hayakawa uses that sword enough times, it'll kill him. Like, it'll take years off of his life. So if he just keeps using it, then eventually it'll catch up and he'll just die on the spot after he uses it. because he has no more years of his life to give up. So anyways, that the devil, whatever it is, that is the sword. It's like the needle. I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore. Well, it seems like Hayakawa defeated this, like, blade man, this sword man, instead of chainsaw man, just a sword man. So he turns around and sees, you know, Power helping Himeno. And then this random girl shows up. I assume it's a girl. Long hair, high voice, kind of looks like a girl. I don't know, it's hard to tell when it comes to anime. I assume it's a girl. And it looks like she has control over the enemy, where she makes that sword man stand back up and attack again. But this time, the sword guy does that typical anime trope where he just teleports behind Hayakawa, implying he moved so fast that it was invisible to the eye. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw this, I was staring at Hayakawa's neck, expecting it to burst out in red. But no, his chest burst. But he's still alive. He's wounded, but he's still alive. And, like, bruh, you had one job. Whoever that ultra-powerful girl is told you to kill Hayakawa. You had one job, and you failed at that one job. You could have easily killed Hayakawa had you just sliced his throat. But no, you attacked his chest for some reason. Whatever. So, then the sword man gets ordered to kill Hayakawa, like finish him off. So what does he do? Does he A, kill him right away and obey orders, or B, take his sweet time approaching Hayakawa and just stand there watching him? Because we see, as Power is helping Himeno, Himeno tells Power, forget about me, go help him. But Power's just like, nuh-uh. I can't even match him. So then Himeno tells her ghost hand, I will give you everything. Just help him. So then the ghost hand, the ghost devil, whatever Himeno has a contract with, once again takes her very sweet time to approach the sword man, all while he's standing over Hayakawa's injured body and doing nothing. I'm just thinking, like, why are you just standing there? Kill him! But whatever, the ghost hands completely overwhelm this sword guy. And then we slowly, one body part at a time, see Himeno vanish. Remember, she gave up her eye to make a contract with this ghost devil. So we see her lose one arm. We see her lose another arm. We see her lose her bottom half, the bottom half of her body, as she says her final words to Hayakawa. So this sword devil thing is being overwhelmed, and then this ghost, not this ghost girl, this ultra powerful girl is just like, stop him. Snake devil, I assume. So then this giant serpent thing just stops everything. Just kind of annihilates the body of the ghost devil, now powered up by all of Himeno. So the sword guy is gone. The ghost devil is gone. The powerful girl is gone. Himeno looks back and just sees... Wait, Hayakawa looks back and just sees Himeno's clothes lying there on the ground. No body, no any trace of her left, just an eye patch on the floor. And then the episode ends. I'm just like, what just happened? Because we just saw literally all our main characters die. When Makima first was shot between the eyes, I was thinking, no way this is real, right? This is some hallucination. This is some illusion. This can't be real, right? They can't just kill the character. Nope, it kind of seems like they killed the character. Killed all the characters, but I'm sure they'll write some kind of way for them all to be back. They're gonna introduce the time devil, the devil that can control time travel, and they're gonna go back and save them all. Anyways, you've been watching Fire Force Season 3. What is Fire Force? Huh, I've never heard of this before. It kind of looks like a supernatural firefighter anime. Oops. Wrong time to soft reset. You can say that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the new Legends game? Did you enjoy it? You already heard me. I enjoyed the base game. I hate the DLC. But I'm still playing it. Very unwillingly, I'm still playing it because I paid for it. So I'm going to play it. But once I finish all I want to do, I'm not playing this game anymore. This DLC is so unfun to play. You have low standards, so you enjoy all Pokemons you play? Isn't that a shame? Having such low standards that even this you enjoy? I mean, if you enjoyed it, by all means, good for you. Me personally, though, I did not. Hey, don't let me dictate what you like and don't like. I don't know, in a way, I'm not the biggest fan of the Legends games. I enjoyed them enough to actually finish the game, you know what I mean? But like, damn. Legends Arceus I already wasn't completely feeling. I enjoyed the gameplay, like the premise of the game, but just to progress in the game, you need to grind the Pokédex. I did not like that. It's like, oh, I got past this chunk of plot. Oh, I need to spend the next couple hours grinding the Pokédex before I'm allowed to progress? Damn, now I don't want to play. I was among like 10 people excited for BDSP and had a great time playing. See, I never played the original Gen 4, at least before BDSP. So I wasn't as hyped as all of the Gen 4 stands. I was excited to a level, but then when I played it, once again, I enjoyed it enough to actually finish the game. And I like the game enough to have replayed it a good number of times, albeit for a specific reason, you know, to get to the very end in Shiny Hunt. But like even we gotta recognize, despite enjoying the game, there are still flaws to it. It's very clunky and very slow. Very unpolished. And you know, I mentioned this the other night as well. Was it last night or was it the night before? I mentioned this too. You know how in the old days, older consoles, older systems like the Game Boy, where there was no internet updates? Older consoles, you know, limited technology at the time. When you program and you develop a game for said system, it has to be done before release. Because there is no internet updates to fix bugs. You put out the game, and if there are bugs, then that's it. Nowadays, game devs, they're lazy, they put out unfinished games, and then they release patch notes later on. And Pokemon does none of the above. They give us unfinished games and do not give us patch notes to fix the games and finish them. Don't you just love the timeline we live in? Don't you just love how much money we keep giving them? It's fine as a game, but it has many issues. Taking the worst aspects of Brilliant Diamond, but not the updated Platinum aspects. Oh, not Brilliant Diamond, that's BP. What, Diamond and Pearl. Also compared remakes like Oras and Heart Gold Soul Silver, it could have been way more. Nah, the fixes are bundled as DLC. Isn't that kind of worse then? Because you buy the game and it's incomplete. And, well, if you want the game to be polished and running smoothly, then you have to buy the additional content. Isn't that worse if bug fixes are bundled with the DLC? And I'm not talking like exploits that they patched out. Don't think I don't know about the whole, you know, overloading the number of spawns underneath Wild Zone 20. They patched that out when it was just a fun exploit. They patched that, but not the actual issues in the game. The bugs, the things that... So we all know that your Pokemon gets stuck behind things and you're not able to do anything, and the time runs out. They do their move commands and then you get to swap them out, do something else. You know, they don't fix issues, but exploits, no, those have to be patched out immediately. The bugs in our clunky game, nope, that was intended. Have fun. Anyways. Look at Scarlet and Violet. Barely ran on Switch, but runs great on Switch too. Still kind of doesn't excuse the fact that it should have been running like that from the beginning. Like, come on, even you can't say that... Wait, even you have to say that the way the game released was unacceptable. Oh, well. It is what it is. This is the world we live in. I mean, what are we gonna do? You know, what can we really do? They give us incomplete games. Well, we'll still buy them. We will still buy them. Anyways, yeah, that's the point I was trying to make. But anyways, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the way the DLC is, so once I'm done playing, yeah, I'm done playing. Besides, I got other things I want to do as well, you know? So, in Legend ZA, I'm working on my living alpha dex. So, one of every alpha. And that was an idea I was tossing around before ZA came out. That was an idea I was thinking of doing in Legends Arceus as well. Now that we have not one, but 2 games that have alphas in it, yeah, once I'm done my alpha dex in this game, I'm gonna go back to Legends Arceus and do an alpha dex in that game. So it's not like once I'm done this game, I'll just put Pokemon down and move on with my life. No, once I'm done playing this, I still have other Pokemon projects I want to do. So, yeah. Right now, playing Legends ZA. Once I'm done all the side missions and everything there is to do, once I'm done my Pokedex and my Alpha Dex, once I'm done shiny hunting everything I want, I'm done with this game. I'm moving on. I'm going back to Legends Arceus, I'm working on my Alpha Dex there, and then when I'm done that, I got plenty of things I could shiny hunt. I still want to go for 2 shiny Yanmas in Brilliant Diamond. Why? Just because I want to. And I don't need to point out that you're currently watching me do a shiny hunt project. Oh, you want to know what I saw earlier today? I sent it to No Shame in Feeding too. That this year will be the 30th anniversary for not only Pokemon, but also Persona. You guys think that for the 30th anniversary of Persona, we'll get Persona 6? Excuse me, I misspoke. We'll get Persona 4 remake footage? And you know, this year being the 30th anniversary for Pokemon, there is no better time to plan a Japan trip than this year. Because not only is it the 30th anniversary of the franchise, it's also the 10th anniversary of Pokemon Go. So there is no time better to plan a trip to Japan than this year. Will I, though? Probably not. It's a very difficult task to do, you know? Plan a whole trip all the way to Japan. And you are out of your mind if you think I'm going there in summer. I will die. I was in Hong Kong in March, and I already found it somewhat warm. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to Japan in summer. Yeah, but anything you want to go to is booked out, like the Pokemon Cafe. Man, the hell with the Pokemon Cafe, as if Japan doesn't have Pokemon everywhere already. I want to go to the Kirby Cafe. That's where it's at. You know, it's one thing to bring me to a place that sells Pokemon merch. It is dangerous to bring me to a place that sells Kirby merch, because I will buy the store out. I will empty out the store. Do not bring me to a Kirby merch place. I want everything. Anything and everything Kirby, I want it. If you guys think I have a lot of Pokemon stuff in my room, you should see how much Kirby stuff I have in my room. I am being dead serious. Is it insane of me to say? I wish there was more Kirby merch, even though there's already a ton. And I already have a ton. I want more. There's no surprise, not as much Kirby merch as there is Pokemon merch. And that makes sense, but that hurts. That hurts me deeply. Low-key glad Bakugan is dead. I can't buy anything anymore. I really wish Amiibos would be dead. Because that way I could stop wasting money on them. But you don't need to buy every Amiibo that comes out. You don't need to buy every new Amiibo. Well, my collection is already nearly complete. And then, if I don't buy the new one, then it's going to be missing that one. You know what's a question I surprisingly don't think I ever asked? What are your guys' number one favorite Pokemon? And do you have a lot of merch for that? Because my favorite Pokemon is Decidueye, and I try looking, there's not a lot of merch. There's not a lot. I have a Decidueye plush. There's not a lot of merch for Decidueye. No surprise, there's a lot more for Pikachu, Charizard, Greninja, but there's just not a lot for Decidueye. It's just not that popular of a Pokemon overall. But it's my favorite. I wonder, do you know what the second highest grossing media franchise? Part of me wants to say Disney, but is that too broad? Or is it Star Wars? But Star Wars is Disney. I feel like Disney is too broad. You know, Disney is an umbrella that houses so many IPs. Oh, neither? What is it? Indulge me. Inform me. I'm pretty sure I saw this too. First is first highest is Pokemon, second is Hello Kitty. Really? I think I've seen that somewhere before. Me personally, I don't see a lot of Hello Kitty stuff. Then again, maybe I'm just not the targeted demographic. You know, there's a couple of items that I've been looking to buy just because I have an itch to spend and waste money. So you know how well, at this point it's low-key dying. You know how the blind box, the mystery box craze that was big like a year ago? The whole Labubu thing? Well, obviously there was a handful of Pokemon sets. And a couple of them, or at least based on my research, like 2 or 3, had Greninja in it. I've been wanting to buy those, but I'm just too lazy to look them up and, you know, actually hit order. Your all-time favorite Pokemon is Bayleaf and Azumarill. Very nice. Interesting it's specifically Bayleaf. Not a lot of people favor the middle evolutions, but hey, good for you. I wonder, how much Bayleaf and Azumarill merch is out there? Well, I'm sure there's plushes of them, but like, how many figurines? You know? How much merch is out there? Well, yeah, keychains as well. What's your guys' story for your favorite Pokemon? Isn't that a fun thing to go over, to share? Because for me, why is Decidueye my favorite shiny? My favorite Pokemon? Well, me personally, I love archery. Archery, to me, is cool. And so, when Sun and Moon was coming out, there was that leaked artwork of what the starter's final evolution might be. I saw Decidueye. Rowlet evolves into an archer. I even thought to myself, if that's real, I'm choosing that. And also, it's the first time, it would have been the first time I ever chose the grass starter. Everything before Gen 7, none of the grass starters really interested me, not even Trico. I always chose either the fire or the water starter. I never chose the grass starter. So, Rowlet being the first ever grass starter, I consciously chose myself. And the fact that I love archery and we have a freaking, an archer. Yeah, I love Decidueye. Decidueye is awesome. I love Decidueye. Well, that's my story behind why I love Decidueye. Why do I love Greninja? It's cool. Yep, that's pretty much it. I can't go into full detail for Bayleaf, alright? But I have an Azumarill profile pic for almost a year now. Nice. There's just not a lot of artwork for Decidueye. Not a whole lot of love for Decidueye. If Decidueye got into Smash instead of Incineroar, then probably there would be more love. Ha! Those emos are great. Knife Azumarill. Nice. Ugh. Well, as always, once I hit 2 hours, then I'll call it for tonight, because I do need to try to sleep early tonight, because I gotta wake up early tomorrow. So about another 25 minutes. You know the Sun and Moon anime? Tugging at my heartstrings? Giving Ash a Rowlet? Only for it to stupidly swallow an Everstone and then giving Ash an Incineroar? It's like, yeah, no. No. To this day, I still have not watched it. It's still wild to me that after the peak that was the X and Y anime, the animators, the writers, everyone behind the Pokemon anime straight up lost their minds and derailed. I don't care how good the Sun and Moon anime is. No. No, I refuse. Click, click, click. I love the sound of the mechanical keyboards. I used to listen to people type for hours. Well, that's an interesting ASMR choice, but you do you. I don't know, I see the vision. What video adapter do you use for your Wii? I don't. I have it for my Wii U. I don't know, I tried to get an adapter for my Wii. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out how to use it. And now I don't know where it is. I don't even remember how long ago that was. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. How crazy? How crazy is that? Time flies quickly. You know, I just got an idea, actually. Hold on. A few days ago, you bought both Hollow Knight and Silksong. Very nice. Very nice choices. I haven't played either of them. Though I hear they're very good, so I really should try them someday. I mean, hey, I get the luxury of not having to wait years for Silksong to come out. Yes, solid games and cheap too. You know what I find kind of crazy? Think about this real quick. We criticize the graphics, like the way graphics look in 3D. Saying it looks bad, it looks unrealistic, it looks cheap, it looks old. But people have no problem with 2D games. 2D games, pixel games, side-scroller games. People have no issues with that. Being, you know, 2D games significantly less realistic, less detailed than 3D models. But people crap on 3D games all the time for saying it looks bad, it looks cheap, it looks unpolished, it looks low quality, it looks like a PS2 game. Like, they're saying it looks cheap, but nobody ever says that for a 2D game. Ain't that crazy? When, by principle, 2D games are cheaper. And some would argue actually looks worse than 3D games. Arguably. You know, if it's beautiful 2D visuals, then no competition there. And yes, I, among all gamers, understand that 3D games, 3D modeling, it's a lot of hard work. Much more time is put in. Bigger budgets. But I don't know, I just find that kind of fascinating. We criticize how bad 3D games look, but we drool over 2D games. People complain about 2D animation all the time. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But are you talking about games or shows? Both. So these past couple days, maybe the past week, has been exceptionally cold. Even indoors, it's quite chilly. And me personally, I love it. Me personally, I'm still walking around in a t-shirt while everyone else is in like 2-3 layers. Everyone's questioning, how are you so warm, I guess? How are you not cold? All of us, we're dressed up in layers, and you're around in a t-shirt. Hell, my mom actually had to turn up the heat. My mom actually had to wear more layers. My mom is like me. We prefer the cold. We dislike the heat, the warmth. But when even my mom is saying, ooh, it's too cold, and I'm still walking around in a t-shirt, you know, not only do I feel more comfortable in the cold, it has to be manageable, you know, can't be too cold, can't be too much of a good thing, so it has to be manageable. While I'm more comfortable in the cold, it also helps me, you know, stay cool, not too hot. When it's colder, I am less hot. I know that's a big brain statement right there. You know, the less warm I am, the less I sweat. And the less I sweat, the less putrid I smell. So, yeah, colder weather means, well, at least I stay manageable for longer. Listen, we all have body odor, we all sweat, and we all stink during the heat. It's exceptionally worse for fat guys, you know. I bought both on winter sale. Cost me $25.33. A steal for 2 games. You can't even buy 1 game with that price right now. You can barely buy a meal with that price. Anyways, you hate the cold. You much prefer the heat. Well, everyone's different. I take after my mom. We both prefer the cold. My sister takes after my dad. They both like the heat. You know the new seasons of Gumball? I haven't even watched those yet. I've seen clips, but I haven't actually watched the show yet. I've seen all of Gumball, the original, what is it, 6 seasons? But the new seasons, I just haven't gotten around to watching yet. It's currently 31F right now, though with wind chill at 12F, I assume Fahrenheit. Converted, it's -1 degree Celsius and feels more like -12. You know what? Yeah, I think that's the measurement of temperature I use. I'm pretty sure. I don't know anything about temperature. Again, another case of this world just being more complicated than it needs to be. Why can't there just be one universal measurement for temperature? You know, I just had an idea that I never thought about, but there's probably a good reason why I never thought about it. It's only the US that uses Fahrenheit. Everyone else uses Celsius. Ah, that explains it. But that, I don't know. But yeah, I never really thought about it. Why have I never looked up Decidui cards and tried to collect them? Well, I'll tell you why. Let me stop myself right there and tell myself why. Because these little sheets of cardboard cost more than my life. I see this rainbow border Decidui EX that looks stunning and I would love to display it in my room. But buying that card will probably cost me a kidney. Decidui EX Celestial Guardians number 198 out of 239. Is it too early for me to request what I want for my birthday? A piece of cardboard. There's a reason I stopped collecting these. Anyway, so time is almost coming up to collect these cardboards again, because this being the 30th anniversary for Pokemon, McDonald's is going to have these. I don't collect Pokemon cards anymore, except for when they're in McDonald's. You know, with Decidui being my favorite Pokemon, you would think that choosing my starter in Legends Arceus would have been the easiest decision of my life. Yeah, but then they gave it that horrendous Hisuian form. While, yes, my favorite color's red, nah, this design just ain't it. Hisuian Decidui just ain't it for me. No. 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 That's just not for me. You would think that I would love having two forms of the same Pokemon in my team, but like, no. No. No, I do not. I do not love Hisuian Decidui. No. That alone should tell you how badly they butchered Decidueye's form. Or Decidueye's design with another form. Because I should be ecstatic. I should be doing backflips. I should be throwing it back for the idea that there is another form of Decidueye out there. I could have two separate forms on my team. But no. This form just ain't it. No. Instead of my beloved OG Decidueye being able to pull drawstrings and, you know, its hood almost acting like a hoodie, now this thing just has a straw top hat? Not a top hat, but just a straw hat? No. I'm sorry, no. Well, a couple more minutes and then we'll be done for tonight. And then I'm gonna get to bed. Though, let's face it, I'm just gonna lie down on bed and not fall asleep for hours. Yo, when we playing Ultimate again, I got Nintendo Online now. How long have you not had that? You know how long ago it was since the last time we played online? Since we played Ultimate? Three or 4 years. Me personally, I'm keeping the lights on over there at Nintendo HQ because I got the yearly subscription and I'm paying for the Pokemon Home yearly subscription as well. So yeah, they taking my money annually. Well, since Sakurai has been busy working on Kirby Air Riders for the past few years, I don't think we're going to get a new Smash game anytime soon. So we'll Switch 2 be the first console since the N64 without a Smash game on it, a new Smash game on it. Well, not counting the DS's since 3DS had Smash on it. We should play Smash 4 3DS sometime. Also play PvP like twice. Would you believe I never bought that game, actually? I never bought Smash for 3DS. Now I kind of wish I did. I'm sure my analog stick on my 3DS doesn't regret that choice. Ahem, I've seen what yours looks like, buddy. And let's say it has seen better days. But yeah, I never bought Smash for 3DS because I bought it for Wii U. In my defense, I didn't break it. Really, it was Jason. You know it's the 3DS's fault we didn't get Ice Climbers back? Unforgivable. 3DS couldn't handle 8-player Smash. Nonsense. Where there's a will, there's a way. So what if the system overheats? Or so what if the system crashes? Clearly, it's not like I use my 3DS for riveting gameplay anyways. Well, we're about to end for tonight. Well, we're about done for tonight. Can you believe I've been doing this stupidity for almost 2 years? End stream when you get a shiny. I would, but I can't because I gotta wake up early tomorrow. You know, I've only done the whole I don't end until I find a shiny once. It was a Psyduck, remember? I think it was a Psyduck. I'll do one more reset. And last encounter, unless you would really like me to stay by giving me a shiny right now. No. This shiny sucks anyways. Oh, see you guys next time. Wow, nice shiny. You can barely tell it's any different. Bye, guys.